Hello there, welcome to the channel. And in today's lesson I'm gonna be showing you guys like how to display a simple dot, which is like the first program in WebGL. So from this tutorial I'm gonna be uploading more tutorials where we're gonna take things further. So basically gonna be learning WebGL together in this tutorial series. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So as you can see, I have my VS Code opened. So you can use any other code editor, but I prefer to use VS Code because of it's easy to use, you see. So I already have my project created. So from here I can just create my new file. So I'm going to create a new index.html file, right? Oh, I said index.html. So yeah, there is. And then after that I'm gonna create my script dot .js file. Perfect. Okay, so we have our index and we'll script .js file. So from the index I'm gonna press shift exclamation mark, I'm gonna press enter, and what that does is it's gonna give me like the default code for the HTML, right? Like the HTML default code. Okay, and then from there I can go to the body tag and create a canvas, because in WebGL we need a canvas. Let me switch off the Wi-Fi because it's a problem. Yeah, okay, so we need to, let me just say, okay, fine. So what this does, it's, you see, 400 by 400. This is my width and height, so this is like the size of my box. So a canvas is basically my box where all of my WebGL components are going to be displayed. After that I'm going to create a script tag where I'm going to give it a source, and then the source is going to be the script.js file that we just created. Okay, cool. So this is basically how our HTML file is supposed to look like. Oh, I can also give it a title. I'm gonna be like let's say lesson 1 WebGL, right? It's cool. So yeah, so if I run this with live server, you should see, well, what you see is you see nothing, because you know we have our canvas, but it's not there yet. So I haven't written the code to actually visually see it. So that is done in this JavaScript file. So in JavaScript, we're still writing the code on how to display the point, which is like the first entry, which is like the first thing that we have to do in WebGL, like the first thing you can program in WebGL. So we're gonna create a constant. I'm gonna call it canvas, right? And I'm gonna say document dot query dot query selector. And then what this does, it's just gonna allow us to be able to access the stuff that are inside the tag canvas. So basically we're just tagging the tag canvas that, hey, we want to use this tag called canvas. So from that we can now get the context, and then we're gonna call that context WebGL, and I'm gonna say things like that document dot get, oh no, it's not document, it's canvas dot, it's canvas dot context, right? and then in the context we say we want to use WebGL. Okay, cool. Now what we have to do next step is, now that we have our again our WebGL component, we can now start using the properties of WebGL. Now that we've imported the context WebGL, we can now start using the properties of WebGL. So now if I say WebGL dot clear color, so what we want now is, the first step is to declare our background color for our canvas, right? So this should display the background color for our canvas. Then WebGL, then we're gonna say dot clear. So that whole clear color, that code 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, and the 1, that's just like the RGB values, right? So we have, so it's the RGBA values, right? So we have a red, green, blue, and alpha, where red, green, and blue are actual colors, and alpha is like the visibility of how we want our we want the visibility of how visible we want our thing to look, so now we're going to say WebGL dot, and then I'm going to say color buffer bit. So should just allow us to display the canvas. So if I save this and I go back to the code, now you can see to the browser, I'm sorry, now you can see our canvas there. It's 400 by 400, 400 width, 400 height. Okay, cool. Now we have our canvas. Now we can start creating the shaders that are gonna allow, that are essentially, which is like the main thing for drawing our WebGL components. So now I'm gonna say constant, I'm gonna call it vertex shader. I'm gonna say it's close to WebGL dot create shader, and in here I'm gonna say we want the vertex shader. Okay, cool. Now that we have the vertex shader, now we can say the shader source. We can specify that we want the shader source, and then in the shader source we can say the vertex shader. Oh no, that's wrong. What happened? And then we say backticks. So we write the code, our shader code inside of the backticks. So the shader code is a C type of code. So it's what WebGL understands to draw our things. So we're gonna say GL underscore position so don't worry about the GL underscore position. This is like a predefined variable that is inside of WebGL. If you go and look at the WebGL documentation online, you're gonna see that GL underscore position is like the predefined variable. So what this is essentially telling WebGL is that the position of our vertex shader is, well, we take it as a 4-component vector simply because we have 4 parameters, which is the first one, which is gonna be our x value, which is this one. Oh my god, which is this one. No, which is this one. It's gonna be our x value, followed by our y, followed by our z, and followed by w, whereby I'll explain w what is in a later stage in the series, right? For now you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that was the vertex shader, and what's left is we have to compile the shader. Remember, because this is a C type of language, so C compiles unlike other programming languages. So I have to compile the vertex shader in order to run it. Alright, cool. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the fragment shader, and then we're gonna say WebGL dot create shader, WebGL dot fragment shader. Okay, and then now we can now write the shader code for the fragment shader. I'm going to say fragment shader, and then I'm going to say backticks. Then inside of the backticks, we're going to write the shader code for the fragment shader, which is also a C type of language. So I'm going to create our GL underscore frag color, which is also a 4-component vector because it also takes in 4 parameters, which in our case it's going to be colors. So it will be RGBA. So it's going to be R, like the clear color. So it's going to be RGBA. So it's going to be 1.0, and we're going to say 0 for the blue, no, the green, and it's going to be 0 again for the blue, and then our alpha is gonna be a 1. Cool, right? So, and then after that we have to compile our shader, and inside of the shader we have to specify which shader we want to compile. In our case, the fragment shader. And then yeah, that's cool. So what you just witnessed now is that we have created 2 of our shaders. We've created a vertex shader and a fragment shader, right? So a vertex shader is what's gonna allow, is basically what's gonna draw like the vertices of our point. So it's gonna draw like each and every point that is necessary to display our vertices, right? Think of them as like lines that actually make the shape. That's what our vertices are. And then the fragment shader, it's used to display the color or the appearance of our shader, of our component that we're trying to display in WebGL, right? So now that we said GL underscore frag color and it's a 4-component vector, we put 1 here. Remember, it's RGBA, so R for red. So that means we're saying we want it to be the color red and the alpha to be 1, meaning it must be fully visible as a red color, right? Cool. Now that that's done, what's left now is we have to create a program. Oh, I forgot to do something important. In our shader source, we have to specify the point size of our component. Remember, we're drawing a point now, so it's very important to specify the size of our point, and it must be a float, because as you can see, everything that we've written for like as our values, all these numbers, they're all floats because WebGL works well with floats, right? So then now going back to the sort of last thing of the program, we're going to say we have to create a program, right? And I have to say GL dot create program, right? Cool. So that creates a program, and then now what we have to do is we have to attach the shaders to the program. right? So each and every shader, so we have to say program, and then we have to specify the shader that we want to attach, so that's the vertex shader. And then we have to say WebGL dot attach shader, and then we want to attach it to the program, and then we want it to be the fragment shader, right? Cool. Then now what's left is we have to say WebGL dot link the program, which is the program, right? So we're linking the program that we just created, and then we're gonna say WebGL dot use the program. So we just say we want to use this program that we just linked. All right, cool. And then now what's left is we have to say WebGL dot, okay, so draw arrays. So what this function is going to do is it's going to allow us to actually draw everything that we just mentioned here. So it's going to allow us to draw the program that we just created, which is our component, right? So it's going to be WebGL dot points, and then we have to say 0, and then we have to say 1. I'll explain what these numbers mean as we go on in the series. And then if I save this, I go back to the browser. Okay, still nothing is visible. Okay, let's see, what's the problem? Let me see. Let me save here and see what's happening. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to say program, not use program. Small mistakes. Program. Great. Now, if I run this, we should see our point. And there you go. There's your point in WebGL. So thanks for watching. If you went this far in the series, in the video, so like I said earlier in the video, I'm gonna be uploading more tutorials of WebGL so we can actually learn this API together and build amazing things in WebGL. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.